So here's a fun little experiment. So I added this ability to change which inference engine is being used. And if I just have some stuff in here, right, this means it's going to use the general inference engine. And we're just going to run one test case just for the sake of it. And you can see that it takes, what is this? Let's just round it up, so like 0.2 seconds, right? On average. I mean, I'm not sure if we run it a couple of times, 17, but something like that. So then if we switch to CanRAN, then so it's pretty much 10 times more, right? But this is not an apples to apples comparison, and this is kind of the tricky part here, because if I pulled out the different portions of inference into the, basically behind the variable, so now we can just easily disable it. So for example, if we disable structural, that is where theorems are applied to inputs, so the single premise rules, as well as immediate, which is the same, and there's also compositional. So if I disable all of these three, so that leaves all the syllogistic rules. So it's still on the order of 100, but only syllogistic inference. Then we're actually in the same category as the general engine, right? And so this is the tricky part. I'm like, the test case still passes. It passes in exactly the same amount of time, but clearly that's, it's not going to make, for example, conversion. Conversion is not going to pass because it relies on the immediate rule. And so if I enable immediate rule, well, it rules all of them, right? So it enables a branch of logic that does that. So the conversion passes, but the deduction now takes a little bit longer, because for each cycle, it's going to run more computation, and that results in the same thing. So essentially, if we enable different pieces, you can start seeing this number go up, 0.6. And then if we enable everything, including all the theorems, then we're back to about 10x. So yeah, this is an interesting kind of tricky thing. So potential for seeing where optimizations can happen and how we can organize the computation, because at the core of it, one way to solve it is to actually just introduce, right? If we turn off all of these guys and just do syllogistic inference, right? You could introduce new rules that take structural, so the hybrid rules, basically taking structural and combining it with the syllogistic inference to allow some kind of basically the approach that Pinaris has currently taken, or in all the other implementations really, where the rules that are sometimes applied are combinations of structural and syllogistic inference, and there are some truth functions that are also non-standard. Or, taking a more pure, I guess, approach in that sense, but with a clear overhead currently in its non-optimized state. So something different needs to be done in order to really reach the same level of performance with this kind of a decoupled, separated structural and syllogistic inference. Because again, if we just disable this, then we're pretty much same level. So 0.2 versus if we go with the other one, we're at 0.2 pretty much. So yeah, I just wanted to illustrate this and see to kind of give you guys context and get some of your feedback. Thanks.